When I was around 8 to 10 years old, my dad's longtime girlfriend made me eat out of the trash. People ask Reddit. Serious, what's the worst thing somebody has ever done to you? On August 24, 2020 in Port St. Lucie, FL, someone came up behind my brother's truck too fast on I-95, passed him on the shoulder, ran out of shoulder, cut over in front of my brother's truck and clipped it, causing them both to cross 3 lanes of traffic. My brother's truck went off the road and rolled several times. His seatbelt failed and my brother, my hero, was killed. The other driver kept on going. What kind of horrible person does that? There is no way they don't know what they did. There is no way. I'll never recover from this loss. Accused me of child abuse. I called the police because there were handprint-shaped bruises on my son after I picked him up from daycare. Since I lived on a military base and took my son to the military daycare, the military conducted the investigation and concluded that I must have been the one that hit him. They wouldn't let me see the daycare footage. I appealed it. I even showed my home security footage, but they closed the case with me permanently listed as a child abuser. My commander bullied me and referred to me as a child beater, and others in the unit asked why I wanted a second kid when I couldn't even take care of my first. My son was almost taken away because I did the right thing as a parent. I met another parent a year later whose kid was in the same classroom, and the exact same thing happened to her. I tried getting legal, CPS, the city police, and other family advocacy agents involved, and the USAF shut it down every time. It's been 2 years and I'm still fucking terrified. I have nightmares of my son being taken away. I went to a therapist and I was diagnosed with PTSD. Saw my best friend dying in front of me at the age of 14 after a bunch of guys jumped us. He died while in the ambulance from internal bleeding. Still miss him 15 years later. The people who jumped us never got caught and all they got was a shitty phone. I told my high school counselor that I was suicidal and that my mom wasn't much help. So she called CPS to talk to my mom. I knew nothing would, or should, come of it, cause all the abuse was mental. My mom made my life hell after that, and it caused way more problems. Years earlier, I told another school counselor that I wanted to be a marine biologist. She said I didn't have the upper arm strength, and I should pick something else. It destroyed me as a child. I can't believe they let her work at a school. Age 6 to 9, lots of sexual abuse. He would pass me around at parties for his old man friends. He'd make me shower with his son and they'd all stand there and watch. My mom won't tell me where he's buried cause I'll piss on his grave. My wife of 15 years started ghosting me about a year ago. Would just stay out for days on end with no contact, then come home and behave like she'd never left. I tried everything to get through to her, to talk, to find out what was wrong, to try fix it. But all I got in return was stonewalling. After 5 months of this torture, I finally asked her to move out. We barely talk now, and I'm just waiting for the 12-month mark so I can file for divorce and be done with this nightmare. My girlfriend of 3.5 years revealed that she had cheated on me with dozens of people over the time we were together. My best friend, her ex-husband, my next-door neighbor, and dozens of randoms. She's an alcoholic. She gets blackout drunk and just seeks out affection from anyone that will give it to her. She has a son from her previous marriage, that I've been a stepfather to. So many nights that she was just crashing at a friend's place, so many doubts. Should have listened to my doubts. Just left me to watch her son while she did whatever she felt like doing. Finally, she reveals it all, and then when trying to figure out what the hell our future is going to look like, she just takes off, drunk, and leaves her son with me for weeks on end. Just completely abandoned her life, her house, her job, and now just drinks and hangs out with her new boyfriend enabler while pretending the old life never existed. She's doing it right now. I'll be taking her son to his first day at school tomorrow. She's still missing. I've got no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. If you want to support our new channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We would also love to read some feedback in the comments. Thank you very much. When I was around 8 to 10 years old, my dad's longtime girlfriend made me eat out of the trash. She had been emotionally abusing me since age 7, but this is one of most evil things I can think of. It all starts when she makes me a sandwich for lunch with some really gross old stale bread. I couldn't finish it, so I buried it deep in the trash. When she asked me if I finished it, I lied so I wouldn't get in trouble. There were a multitude of punishments for this. I didn't do a very good job lying, so she knew right away. She digs through the trash and finds the bread, stating you don't get anything else to eat until you finish this. This bread is covered in old coffee grounds, trash juice, and who knows what else. After a few hours, all I had managed to do was break it into a million crumbs, so she put it in a bowl and gave me a spoon. Dinner rolls around and she decides to take us to my favorite restaurant, where I have to sit and watch my whole family eat while she tells the server that I'm not hungry, lol. The next morning comes and my breakfast is this huge bowl of trash breadcrumbs. My dad sneaks me some grape juice around lunchtime, as if that's any help. It's worth mentioning that my dad was so in love with her, and probably scared of her too, that he didn't question any of her actions. A few hours after the juice, I start barfing out of nowhere. I don't know if it was from something in the trash or just because trying to eat those crumbs made me so nauseous, but I couldn't stop the purple vomit escaping my mouth. She starts screaming at me to clean it up, and I do. I guess the vomiting worried her enough, because after I cleaned it up I finally got to eat something small before dinner, and still remember the joy I felt as I watched her pour the bowl of crumbs back into the trash. I brought this incident up a few years after it happened, and she yelled at me to get over it and to never bring it up again, because I was just trying to make her feel bad. 20 years later and I'm still sitting here like WTF was wrong with her. When I was in my early 20s, I was randomly assaulted while walking home after a night of drinking. I have no idea who it was to this day, but I was knocked out cold and later woke up lying in a pool of my own blood. What actually hurt more is that when I woke up, I saw a couple walking by and I called out for them to help me. They laughed at me and they kept walking. Cheated on me for over a year with my best friend, and then talked me into a threesome together before I found out they had already been having sex the whole time. Reply: this happened to my friend, and it turned out she wanted to have a threesome cause she was pregnant with the other dude's kid and wanted to be able to explain it. One of the worst was when I was 18 and living with my mom. She met a new guy and was going to move in with him with my brother, who was 8. She said there wasn't room for me. She left me in the house we were living in until the official move-out date. Heat and electricity were turned off. Thankfully it wasn't too cold out. I was there for about a week or two before I got my own place. My mom broke up with that guy after like 8 months. Had nowhere to go, so she moved in with me. It didn't last long and I moved elsewhere. It really summed up my entire childhood with her. Update: I didn't expect to get so many upvotes. Thank you for all the kind words. This was 11 years ago now. She did the same thing to my brother this past year and we don't really talk anymore. I'm a happy person now, aside from some anxiety and trust issues, lol. Doesn't even compare to the ones posted so far, but one time my friend and roommate, at the time, got us both evicted, then saddled me with about $7,000 worth of cleaning bills and bailed. The next apartment I got would only accept me if I prepaid the entire year. That was a fun experience. My ex did a lot of abusive things to me. But the one thing I can't get over is ripping up over 20 years of concert tickets I had been saving in a memory box. I guess my mom beating, starving, abandoning, and letting her drug addict friends sexually assault me is up there. Followed closely behind by this woman I dated for 4 years who systematically broke me down and physically and verbally abused me the entire time. If any of you guys are in abusive or confusing situations, there is support out there and I can point you to resources. Hit me up whenever. My mom joined a cult when I was 6. One of the older men in the congregation groomed me and sexually assaulted me when I was 12 and he was 24. I was told it was my fault and got disciplined for it. Edit: for anyone that wants to know more information on how destructive this cult is and how they hide pedophiles, please watch this informative documentary, Vice Crusaders x Jehovah's Witnesses Speak Out. My union president found out I had a personal dispute with coworker/friend. She wanted my job and went to our boss pretending to concerned about my friend and got me demoted and a loss of about $5,000 in annual income. I know it was a setup because she moved her stuff into my office before I even found out about the demotion. My GF left me after cheating for months to be with her married BF. He had a third kid on the way with his wife. I was 2 weeks away from proposing. Was just waiting for a meteor shower. Devastated. Edit: much appreciation for everyone's kind words. This happened years ago. I suppose I left out the fact that dude was her boss as well. So yeah, bullet dodged. I don't know much about what happened, but I do know they split up and she emailed me about how I was right about it not being a good idea and all that. Never responded. Felt there was no need. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.